GregTech is a Minecraft mod about science and chemistry. Because of this, GregTech bases can be quite complicated. In this video, we will explore 10 different types of GregTech bases, and you will figure out which one you are. Let's start. This is the first base that people ever build in GregTech. Just like in normal Minecraft, people build a small dirt hut or underground outpost to survive the first few nights, but at a certain point, you figure out that there is not enough space. GregTech requires a lot of space. Just in the Steam age, you are required to build at least 3 multi-block machines. So, people usually start out with a small dirt hut, and eventually build a larger structure as they get to low or medium voltage. Some people may build a massive structure to house their machinery in a single building. The base in the background of this video was built by DiliaB228, or Takakoma Gaming. Building a massive stone or concrete structure is very simple, but it just requires a ton of material. Usually, the different rooms of the base are dedicated to different processing lines. This futuristic style was popularized by famous professional redditor Samsa in 2020. It's very popular for people who somehow reached a late game in GregTech New Horizons. It mainly consists of different buildings built using Lathe 12 and Dianta blocks from Chiseled. A base like this looks very cool, but this style is kind of overused. Every single post about GregTech New Horizons uses a base like this and some shaders. Sadly, most of us with poor graphics cards can't afford to build like Samsa. A lawn base is a base that is built using only walls and a floor, but no ceiling. Lawn bases are typically made in a plains biome, with all the machinery laid out on the grass. This is why it's called a lawn base. It's very convenient because you don't have to design and actually build a structure, but I think it looks ugly. Some people use the term lawn base to refer to machines that are just laid out in a random manner, without organizing them into different compartments. For example, the space station that the PGS has built in 2022, has one single giant room for all machines, instead of having multiple smaller rooms for each processing line or setup. Spaghetti wiring is not a type of base, but it's a lifestyle. Spaghetti wiring is wiring that looks like messy pasta instead of neatly ordered cables. In easier versions of GregTech, avoiding spaghetti is really easy, because you don't have to keep up with a lot of stuff. But in supersymmetry, when you are asked to manage 25 different items and 12 different fluids at the same time, it is quite difficult to keep stuff neat. An underground lawn base is just a normal lawn base but built underground. Usually, underground lawn bases will have walls made out of stone and machinery put on the floor, and maybe they have some walkways to get around the different machinery rooms. I think it's even worse than a normal lawn base, because you are taking a lot of time to dig the stone instead of building an actual building. This is what the supersymmetry base looked like. As I did not play 14 hours a day, I did not know the position of each one of the 17 million machines. I bit my keyboard while trying to find an HV assembler. A bunker is an underground base with an actual entrance and layout. This design is not really that popular. One of the best bunker bases ever was made by Zalgo in 2020, back when his mod pack supersymmetry was still an idea in his head and not real. The style of this particular base looks like a mix of a Soviet control panel and futuristic architecture. He also got inspired by Half-Life 2, because he is a huge fan of the Valve games. I find it sad that we didn't build a base like this one in the event, but we did not have much time for building. Events are the worst way to play Minecraft in multiplayer, because you have a constant threat of getting attacked and losing everything. So you don't want to build something cool because you know that it can get ruined by a group of losers in about 5 minutes. Sky bases are usually made in mod packs that have a sky block mode. For example, in Nama Factory, you can build your base in a sky dimension instead of on Earth. Sky bases are quite annoying to build because you have to bridge to build before you unlock flight. Sky bases usually have a large cobblestone platform with a large open area like a lawn base, but in the sky. Never mind the fact that building a platform in the sky is impossible in real life because of physics. A space station is the evolution of a sky base. Space is further high up than the sky. Space stations are impossible to construct in mod packs that don't have advanced rocketry. Space stations are much cooler but also harder to construct, because you have to create a satellite, launch it, and then use several machines to add gravity in your base. Also, a space station has to be fitted with walls and oxygen, otherwise you don't breathe and you will die. But you can also move your station around the solar system and drop down to the planet using a rocket, which is pretty cool, and obviously, you get the glorious orbital laser drill so you can destroy players from up above. A Giga Complex is a base that is built off multiple buildings, connected with each other, usually spread out over a large area. Only the most massive of bases can be called a Giga Complex. Until the middle or late game, you can put most machines in 1 or 2 buildings. But when you get to the very end of the game, you will have to make entire buildings dedicated to just one part of your base. A Giga Complex is laid out like an entire city, with each building dedicated to one area of GregTech progression. Examples of Giga Complex bases are Carax 82's base, which is the base in the background of this video, and the Gigaplex from Houston. By the way, I added links to each one of the bases in the description of this video. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching.